Welcome back, witches. This is Crystal Star Witchery, Lisa here, and I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to be here today, and got my wine, because what is love without wine, you know? Look at the camera, not at yeah, wine. So, I actually know quite a bit about love, as in I've been in and out of love my whole life. I don't believe in love spells to cast on a specific person. It is not that I don't think you should cast spells to make somebody fall in love with you. It's not that I think that it's ethically wrong. I just think it's practically a bad idea. So yeah, there's many kinds of love. There's kind of love where you're really good friends who can have a romp in the sack every now and then. There are the kinds of friends that kinds of love where it's really hot and passionate and crazy for a little while, and then it just kind of fizzles out and never turns anything real. And then there's a true love, which I feel like I've personally experiencing in my life at this time, finally, where the person that you're in love with is compatible on you on a physical level, sexual level, spiritual level, lifestyle level, that you share many things in common with them, that the gods themselves seem to have brought you together against all odds. That's kind of love that you can't cast a spell and make that happen. You can call that person into your life, but you kind of gotta let go of your expectations. I'm reminded of, the movie Practical Magic, where Sally cast a spell for this impossible man, this guy that couldn't possibly exist. I cast a similar spell where I wrote down a list of qualifications for a man I would spend the rest of my life with. And he had to, be the kind of man who believed in being healthy and was really ethical and morally compatible with me, and had similar values. He had to have similar interests. He had to be a witch, magical practicing pagan. He had to be sexually competent in bed, of course. Come on, gotta have the nookie. Come on, right? And good looking and smart, and will push you to be your best, and do all those things, be all that compatible. I mean, I've met a lot of pagan men, and a lot of them are, they're okay. They're more like in friend zone area. No, nothing against the other pagan men I've met. That's just the way it is. In the past, one of my exes, I was in a major relationship with, one of the fathers of my children. I have 2 kids, 2 baby daddies. He's a pagan. But we are not compatible at all. Personality-wise, spiritually speaking, even not really. I mean, so I think it's important to have high standards. If you want somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, you've got to get those standards way the fuck up there. Because if you're going to lower your standards down here, you're going to have somebody that, you can live with them for a while, but what about later on when you start to grow and become a different, we're always growing, we're always changing, and you want somebody that's going to grow with you. And, I'm certainly not the one to hate on my exes, but they just weren't what I needed. Okay, enough tea, back to the wine. Ah, yes. And so ethically speaking, as far as love spells are concerned, I think that calling your one true love is not for everybody, because not everybody's looking for their one true love. They don't want Mr. Right. They want Mr. Right now. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I had a candle that was getting out of hand. Whew. I'm glad I did something about that. So, anyway. So a lot of people aren't looking for the one true love of their life. They're looking for somebody they can have fun with and have a passionate love affair with right now. And that's perfectly okay too. I think it's fine to cast seduction spells, to make somebody attracted to you, I think there's a big difference between, say, casting a spell on yourself to make yourself sexually attractive and make people want to have sex with you. There's something way more ethical about that than putting a roofie in somebody's drink. Now, if you're casting a spell that's equivalent of putting a roofie in somebody's drink, then you're a dick, or you're a bitch, and you really should be strung up by your toenails and probably beat with wet noodles until you come to your senses. But the fact is that when it comes to sex and love and stuff like that, if you cast a spell and it works, they're still participating in that willfully. It's not like you're bending them to your will. It's more like you're convincing them. Just like if you put on perfume and do up your eyes and flirt and give them that little smile. Making that a little bit more powerful is not an unethical thing to do. You don't want to mislead anybody. You don't want to make somebody think that, oh, you know, that you're into a relationship if you're not, or you don't want to, obviously don't want to force somebody to have sex with you. You don't want to force anybody into a relationship with you. You don't want to get yourself knocked up on purpose to get somebody to commit to you. However, to be seductive, to be loving and be open and invite lovers into your life, and, you know, as long as you're safe and it's consensual, more power to you. That's what I think. So there's a book out there by Phyllis Curott. It's called The Love Spell. I really recommend you read that, because it goes on into loving yourself in a spiritual way and meeting and becoming a whole person on your own without having to need another person to fulfill that for you. And I think that's that codependent thing is something a lot of people get into, and they try to complete themselves with another person, or they don't feel right if they're not in a relationship or having sex with somebody or dating all the time. They can't feel comfortable alone. And you really need to get to that point where you do feel comfortable alone, that you feel confident being who you are by yourself, that you feel like you're a whole person, that you are in love with you as a person, before you can really attract any kind of meaningful love into your life. And when I say meaningful, I don't mean even a long-term relationship. I mean meaningful as in something that you can grab onto and experience and not feel brokenhearted all the time. Because heartbreak in a relationship is a sign that you invested yourself into something without being whole yourself. Love is a complex issue. And so there's a lot of different love spells out there on the web. I mean, there's a zillion and one where you take your This is a white candle. But you take your red candles and you move them closer together day by day until they become one, basically one candle. Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Is that a worthwhile goal for you, though? Is this person over here that you're trying to draw to you, are they worth your time? And you need to figure that out. And the only way that you're going to know for sure if that person is right for you is completely know yourself and completely love yourself. And at the first sign that this person over here is acting like a fool, you got to ask yourself, is that something I want to put up with? I mean, you can try to patch together relationships where he's cheating on you. And believe me, I've been cheated on. Whoo, but I've been cheated on. And, I used to blame myself and used to try to figure out what the hell's wrong with me. And it wasn't something was wrong with me. There was something wrong with the relationship. And it wasn't a right fit. The relationship had run its course and it was over. And I think there's this myth that you get with one person, you're supposed to be with them the rest of your life. Well, yeah, that's great if you can find it. Like, I'm hoping that this relationship I am in right now will be that one. But if it's not, I haven't lost anything from being in it. But when it's run its course, if for some reason he's not loving me anymore, or he's decided to move on and find somebody else, maybe that relationship's not meant to be. And I don't need to blame myself or hate the other person because the relationship ended. I just need to learn to love myself first. That's the most important thing. You've got to love yourself first, because if you can't love yourself, other people are going to take advantage of you, and they're going to be able to hurt you. And you got to not stand for nonsense. And when it gets to the point where there's nonsense involved, don't try to patch that together. It's already broken. You're just going to have cracks in it. You're just going to have cracks in their weaknesses, and it's going to be harder and harder and harder to keep patching it back together. I know this from experience. So my friend who sent me this request, who wanted me to do a video about love spells, she is looking to get back together with somebody that she was with before, and that might work out for her if that's what she really wants, and that's what's going to make her happy. I want her to be happy, but more importantly, I want her to love herself and to be in love with herself to such a degree that it doesn't matter if it works out with this person or not. I am working on a love spell here for her, for self-love, so that she will put herself first and get what she needs from herself. And anybody else that comes into her life is just a bonus. I'm melting some wax, and it's not quite melted yet. And I've got red wax in here and some rose petals. Rose petals that were given to me on Valentine's from the man I love. And because I want her to experience the kind of love I have. Maybe not with maybe not a specific person, maybe just in general in life. I'm working on that spell for her. I've got this wax mold that I'm making. It's made out of aluminum foil. As you can see, it's a heart. And later, when the wax is fully melted, I'll pour the wax in with the rose petals. It smells wonderful. It smells divine. It's, those wax tarts. It's a rose-scented wax tart. It's got like wine, roses, and chocolate, all those wonderful love-scented, all of those things that are associated with love. And real rose petals. And I'll probably throw in a rose quartz just to give it a little extra something. But yeah, I'm working on that for her because I want her to be happy in whatever relationship she finds herself in. Love is a beautiful thing. I think the universe created love. I think the universe probably is love. The divine spark of the universe is love. And that it cares very deeply about us and wants us to be happy. But we belong to the divine. And the divine is our first lover. And our love for the divine is a love for ourselves. And to properly love another person, you have to see the divine in them too. And I hope that, I know I just kind of rambled in this post, but this means a lot. And I want everybody to try to understand that love spells can be very, very complicated things. It's not something that you just jump into. And I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong to cast a love spell. But, because there is a certain amount of free will involved. I don't believe in a totality of free will. Because there's, emotions are very complicated. When it comes to emotions, there's not much free will involved. We feel what we feel. We feel what we feel whether we choose to feel that way or not. And other people are going to feel what they feel. And any spell that you cast over them makes somebody fall in love with you is going to have a temporary effect if the universe hasn't decreed it so. And that's the way I feel about it. I think love is one of those issues that is so complicated, so sacred and holy, that there is a certain amount of divine will that you have to give it up to. You can't just override it all. You can override it to a certain extent, but you won't get the real thing unless you call out to the universe to bring true love into your life. And then you can have that. If you're lucky. Maybe it's not meant for everybody. I don't know. I just know what happened in my own life. That I set my standards high. And I dreamed an impossible dream of love that I never thought I could have. And I have it now. So, I remember the words I used. If I can't have this, then I don't want anything. And I will deal with, Mr. Right Now for the rest of my life if I have to. But it didn't work out that way. The way it worked out was that Mr. Right was out there. My true love was out there. And the man who met my specifications and my expectations and my high standards, he was out there. And the universe brought him to me. The universe helped him to cast magic to bring me to him as well. I mean, it was a completely mutual thing. We fell in love before we even met. And it was, and when we did meet, it was like we'd known each other our whole lives. It was really, really special. And continues to be really, really special to this day. And I feel so blessed and honored to be a part of that. So, there you go. There is my post about love spells. It was a bit rambling, but I hope it's helpful, at least to some people out there. And I love you all for watching. And I thank you. I'm grateful for you all. Blessed be.